This is Jocko Podcast number 56 with Echo Charles and me, Jocko Willink. Good evening, Echo.
Good evening.
Silent screams and broken dreams. Addicts, junkies, pushers, and fiends. Crowded spaces and sad faces never look back as the police chase us. Consumed slowly by chaos, a victim of the streets. Hungry for knowledge, but afraid to eat. A life of destruction, it seems no one cares. A man-child alone with burdens to bear. Trapped in a life of crime and hate, it seems the ghetto will be my fate. If I had just one wish, it would surely be that God would send angels to set me free. Free from the madness of a city running wild. Free from the life of a ghetto child. And that is a poem written by a young DeAndre McCullough, a criminal drug dealer who, when he wrote that poem, was doing time after being one of the main subjects in a book called The Corner, which is written by David Simon and Edward Burns, which documents the violent drug trade in Baltimore, Maryland. And that sort of morphed into an HBO series that was called The Corner as well, which paved the way for another series, which is called The Wire, which is just an outstanding miniseries that came out on HBO. But The Wire is fictional, even though it's based on kind of the same situation in Baltimore. But The Corner is real. The book, The Corner is real, and it gives a very clear and a very grim view at the life of drugs and crime in the inner city, namely in Baltimore. And I'm going to go back to the book now. We can't stop it. Not with all the lawyers, guns, and money in this world. Not with guilt or morality or righteous indignation. Not with crime summits or task forces or committees. Not with policy decisions made in places that can't be seen from the lost corner of Fayette and Monroe. No lasting victory in the war on drugs can be bought by doubling the number of beat cops or tripling the number of prison beds. No peace can come from kingpin statutes and civil forfeiture laws and warrantless searches and whatever the hell else is about to be tossed into next year's crime bill. Down on Fayette Street, they know. Today, as on every other day, the shop will be open by mid-morning, and the touts will be on the corners chirping out product names as if the stuff is street legal. The runners will bring a little more of the package down, and the fiends will queue up to be served. A line of gaunt, passive supplicants stretching down the alley and around the block. The corner is rooted in human desire. Crude and certain and immediate. And the hard truth is that all the law enforcement in the world can't mess with desire. Down at Fayette and Monroe and every corner like it in Baltimore, the dealers and fiends have won because they are legion. They've won because the state of Maryland and the federal government have imprisoned thousands and arrested tens of thousands and put maybe 100,000 on parole and probation rolls. And still it isn't close to enough. By raw demographics, the men and women of the corners can claim victory. In Baltimore alone, a city of fewer than 700,000 souls, with some of the highest recorded rates of intravenous drug use in the nation, they are 50, perhaps 60,000 strong. 3 of them available for every prison bed in the entire state of Maryland. The slingers are manning more than 100 open-air corners, serving up the product as fast as they can get it off the southbound Metroliner. and the fiends are chasing down that blast 24/7. In neighborhoods where no other wealth exists, they've constructed an economic engine so powerful that they'll readily sacrifice everything to it. And make no mistake, that engine is humming. No slacking profit margins, no recessions, no bad quarterly reports, no layoffs, no naturalized unemployment rate. Get it straight, they're not just out here to sling and shoot drugs. In drug market in cities across the nation, lives without any obvious justification are given definition through a simple, self-sustaining capitalism. The corner has a place for them, every last soul. Touts, runners, lookouts, mules, stick-up boys, stash stealers, enforcers, fiends, burn artists, police snitches, all necessary in the world of the corner. Each is to be used, abused, and ultimately devoured with unfailing precision. It's about the fiends, thousands of them who want that good dope. They need it the way other souls need to breathe air. It's about the slingers, the young crews working the packages, all of them willing to trade a morality that they've never seen or felt for a fleeting moment of material success. They are working the package with the hidden knowledge that they will fall. That with rare exception, the money won't last and the ride will be over in 6 months, or 4, or 3. Violence. Violence is no longer the prerogative of the professional, but a function of impulse and emotion. The contract killers and the well-planned assassinations of earlier eras are mere myth on these corners. Now, the moment of truth generally comes down to some man-child with hurt feelings waving a 38 around, spraying bullets up and down the block. The accidental shooting of bystanders is now commonplace. Even 15-year-old hoppers have loaded 38s hidden in the alley. The job is little better than a death wish. And in the end, the corner best serves the hardcore, the junkyard dogs with neither the time nor the inclination for pity. The corner proves itself every day. It destroys whatever it touches. And eventually, the corner destroyed DeAndre McCullough. Even though he received a second chance in his life, and he actually got to play a small role in that series that came out on HBO, The Wire. He got some other jobs in the entertainment industry as well, but the corner called him back. And that guy, DeAndre, who wrote that poem, he ended up dead of a heroin overdose in 2012 at the age of 35.